Welcome to Lansing. My name is Marilyn Lane. I'm State Representative for District 31, proudly serving Fraser, Clinton Township, and Mount Clemens. Today I'm going to be talking with my favorite high school, Clintondale High School, and we're going to talk about how a bill is made. How a bill is made? Well, it starts off with, a lot of times, someone just like yourself. Someone that may have an ideal, somebody that thinks a law needs to be changed or enacted for many different reasons. I have one in front of me right now, and here was what the situation was. It will look like this. This was no reason absentee. Currently right now, if you want to vote absentee, you have to have a reason why you have to request it. And many times you're out of state, or maybe you're ill, or for whatever the reasons are, you have to acknowledge that you're not going to be here. What this bill does says, if you want to vote absentee, you don't have to have a reason. Just check a box and says, I'd like to vote absentee and I'd like to vote in the privacy of my home. So when you get the idea, it gets drafted by Legislative Bureau to put it in the wording form that would show that how the bill would look. After it gets crafted, it becomes a blue back like this. And what happens is, I go to all my members, there's 110 on the House floor, and I present it to them. And I have the opportunity for all the members, if they'd like to sign in and sponsor my bill, which would then mean I share my idea and that they can sponsor the bill. Once that happens, I turn it into the clerk, and then the clerk will assign it. In this case, because it has to do with elections, it'll go to elections and ethics. We have different committees that will hear different topics. So this goes to election and ethics. We have health policy, we have transportation, we have veterans, we have banking, we have energy and tech. So whatever your ideal might be, it'll be assigned to a committee. Once the committee takes up the bill, there's testimony. You go in and then I have to talk about the bill, just like I'm talking to you, and I have to tell the committee members why I think it's a good idea. They have an opportunity to vote whether or not they think it's a good idea. If they think it's a good idea, they'll vote it out of committee, which is the first step of this process. Once it gets out of committee, then it has the opportunity to head its way to the House floor. That's where the 110 members meet. It'll go on second reading for the first time. It gets introduced so that all members have an opportunity to read the bill and learn more about it before they have to make a decision. Then it'll get taken up on the third reading, usually the next day or a couple days thereafter, which then the House will be required to vote on. If it passes, then it would go on to the next chamber, which is the Senate, and then the same process will happen there. Hopefully it goes through the House, hopefully it gets voted by the Senate, and if that's the case, then on the way to the governor's desk goes for him to sign it and enact it as law. Okay, this is what happens. Once a bill gets signed by the governor, this is the process. Here was my very first bill that I enacted. And what will happen is the governor will sign it. I actually got the pen that he used to sign the bill. It was enrolled in House Bill number 5592. It was done last year in a regular session 2012. And we get a picture with the governor showing that it's our bill. And being it's my first session, it's my first bill. I have a couple more bills that will be getting up to this point, and hopefully my wall will be filled with many more. But I want to ask you to challenge you now. A lot of decisions that we make here in Lansing really have an impact on our schools, our students, your future. So now I'm going to ask you as a class, I want you to get involved. I want you to engage, and I want you to create a democracy. Why don't you think about it as a group and think of the things that you feel maybe needs to be enacted in law, maybe things that need to be changed. What ideals can you bring forward? And here's the beginning of the democracy. You'll have many, many ideals, varying views and varying ideals, but you're going to condense them, and you have to vote on coming up with what you think is going to be the best legislative law that the state of Michigan should enact, and better yet, why 110 legislators should vote for it, or the majority of them, and why 38 senators, or the majority of them, should agree to it, and why the governor of the state of Michigan should sign and enact it. You think you're up for the challenge? Think you can do it? I do. Hope to hear from you soon.